Dr. Francesca. Welcome to Elevation Health for those of you here for the first time. Who here is ready to lose weight and feel great? I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Come on, tell me who's ready. Who's ready? Who's ready? Everybody. Good, good, good. All right, awesome. So we've got our wonderful guest speaker tonight. Those of you who know him, Dr. David Yachter's in the house. He is author of Born a Champion. For those of you who do not know, available on Amazon right now. He's also been Chiropractor of the Year 3 times. And I would like you guys to join with me in welcoming Dr. David Yachter.
Welcome, guys. I got more seats up front here. Mr. Dub and Craig, come on down. You're the next contestants. Welcome, guys. Come on. Yep, come on up front. How's everybody doing tonight? Awesome. I'm glad you're here. Are you glad you're here? Turn to your neighbor and say, I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here.
All right. I guess everybody's ready to lose weight, feel great, have their healthiest year ever. Turn to your neighbor and say, that's me.
That's me.
Okay, now that everybody's awake, I think we can get started. All right, so we're going to learn some things tonight, and yeah, it's a weight loss workshop, but it's probably not going to come at you the way that you're thinking. How many of you guys have dieted before? You know, tried to lose weight, and what happens eventually after you lose weight? It what?
Comes back.
Usually comes back on. So tonight, what I would like to do is try to give you another option, another way to make the results permanent. How many of you guys think that would be a good strategy if we can make the results permanent? Okay, so I want to show you what the important factors are for making the gains your actually results permanent. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. We don't want gains. We want loss. But we don't just want weight loss, we want fat loss. How does that sound? So if you want to be a lean, mean, fat-burning machine, raise your hand. All right, beautiful. So you're going to learn some good stuff tonight. If this is your first workshop, welcome. How many of you guys is this your first workshop tonight? Good. Give them a big round of applause. Awesome. And how many of you guys have been to 10 or more workshops? Raise your hand. Barry, put your hand in the air. There you go. 10 or more workshops. Who else? 20 or more, 30 or more, 40 or more. All right, look around. We got people here. So we've got a workshop culture club. You're going to learn at this place that when you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying. Come on up, Gracia. Gracia, come on up. We got plenty over here. Okay, so the next workshop coming up is in 2 weeks, Heart Smart Nutrition. Heart Smart Nutrition. So most of you in the room right now, you know people who have hypertension, they're on medication for that, diabetes, cholesterol, and what I'm going to teach you at this workshop is how to have a strategy to prevent, reduce, and get off a lot of medications. If that's something that's important to you, that you're interested in, I'll show you that, and all of that is supported by medical research, Journal of the American Medical Association, the American Medical Journal. I'll go through all that stuff with you. This is one of the most important workshops that you'll ever be at. So if you have friends, family members, think of them. You may want to bring them because you will be your hero by showing up at this workshop. Dial that in. If you don't have one of these workshop cards, get one of those because it tells you what the title of the workshop is every single month. So you can pick and choose which ones you're at. What most of our patients do is they'll come to 6 or more because that entitles you to a big fat discount. So it's kind of like one of those Subway free sandwich cards. So why do you want to lose weight? You want to lose weight because everybody wants to lose weight because they want to look good and feel good. How many of you guys like when your pants get really tight? Nobody? Oh, you passed that test. It's uncomfortable, right? And so you want to feel good, you want to look good, but you know the reality is that we want to lose weight not just because of that. We want to lose weight because we want to stay out of doctors' offices, off medication, out of hospitals as much as possible. And I think many people fail to grasp that as the anchor. And if you got that as the anchor, then I think that could be a strategy for long-term results. Because every once in a while, we're all going to cave into that piece of cheesecake, or the problem is when it happens more than once a week. When it happens like kind of every day, that turns into a big problem. And that quick hit of sugar and what tastes really good is nothing more than a biochemical endorphin release that will give you the same hit as if you snort cocaine or do heroin. It's the same exact chemical cascade that's triggered in the brain. Did you know that? Yeah, so sugar is a drug. And the feeling that you get when you bite into something like that is so short-lived. Is it really worth taking years off of your life? Honestly, when your BMI goes over 30, somebody said, oh yeah? Did somebody say, oh, yeah? You did. I'm just messing with you. I just wanted to call you out. But when your BMI goes up, you guys know, when your BMI goes up over 30, 35, you're losing somewhere between 8 and 13 years off your life expectancy. Did you get that? 8 to 13 years off your life expectancy. That's when it becomes a big deal. So when you're overweight, if it stays like that, if nothing is being done, eventually you wind up having problems with your blood pressure, your cholesterol that causes diabetes, heart disease, stroke, gallbladder, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, breathing problems, cancer, mental illness, body pain, joint degeneration, for just poor quality of life. Almost every degenerative disease that you could die from or be medicated for, you're just gonna get pushed closer to it if you're overweight. So we're going to talk about that, talk about obesity and how predictable things are. So not to mention the financial consequences. How many of you guys like to save money? Yeah, so that's a stupid question. Nobody would raise their hand and say that. How many of you guys like to lose money? How many of you guys would like to take 17 $100 bills, or 17,000 $100 bills and light them on fire? But the reality is that, when they do studies on this long term, the effects of obesity and overweight, and they look at people relative to people who are not overweight, who do you think winds up spending more on their health? People overweight, right? And that's not even including, what you pay for life insurance and health insurance. If your BMI, that's the first thing they're going to ask you. Where's your BMI at? Because they know people with BMIs over 30 at the highest risk for heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. So it's a predictor of early death. It's a predictor of disease and early death. And obviously everybody knows that when you start treating that stuff, the people who are laughing all the way to the bank are the drug companies, right? Drug companies and the doctors, it's a whole sick care system. It's not a healthcare system, it's a sick care system. And that's what you're doing. You're just feeding yourself to that, saying, okay, well, whatever, just throw it at me. So the financial consequences they found, and they looked and they saw that people who are overweight, obesity, the per person cost for obesity were similar to those as those for what? Smoking. Yeah, so how many of you guys know that smokers don't live as long? Smokers have a very, very high risk for disease. Well, per cost per person for obesity, similar to if you're smoking. You may as well be smoking 3-4 packs of cigarettes a day if we don't do something about the weight condition. Treatment of 5 most common obesity-related conditions for stroke, heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol resulted in up to $17,000 higher cost compared to normal weight adults. Again, not including health insurance and life insurance, right? Okay, so we're talking about saving time, saving money. It all goes with this. The best investment that you can make is in who? You, that's right. Your health is an investment. It's not an expense. Anytime you spend money on yourself, whether it's nutrition, exercise, diet, the return on that investment is exponential, let alone what you just saw up there. These numbers make it a no-brainer. Any time or money that you could put into your health to lose weight, reduce your BMI, reduce your visceral fat, reduce your fat percentage, translates to you saving time, saving money, staying out of doctor's offices, off medication, out of hospitals. Right or right? Yeah, so the research is out. It's not your fault. How many of you guys know people that can eat a full, like a whole pizza or a big, 2-3 slices of cake, and they look the same tomorrow, they look the same next week, they never gain any weight? How many of you guys hate those people? Like you and I, we look at food and we smell food and we put on 5 pounds. So what do we get? The defective genes? No. What do they have working that we don't? It starts with an M and it sounds like metabolism. Exactly. So when it comes to losing weight, it's not about calories. It's about correcting your metabolism. Because the person who's got a crazy fast metabolism, they could eat the same number of calories and you even more. And what happens? They burn it right off. So when your metabolism is cooking, when your metabolism is working properly, it burns off calories. And it does that inside the cells. All the cells have something called mitochondria. And when the mitochondria is working properly inside those cells, that little powerhouse, then your body has a good, strong metabolism and it can burn off calories. and it can burn fat. So tonight I want to talk to you about how do we do that? How do we fix the metabolism? How do we raise your metabolism and reset your metabolism? How many of you guys would like to have a metabolism working like somebody who's 20 years younger than you? Say aye? Aye. Yes, there's a way to actually do that predictably. Okay, so I can show you how to do that, and that's part of what we're going to cover tonight as well. So what are the keys to correcting your metabolism? Number one is lose what? Lose fat. Have you ever lost weight before? Yes. Anybody can lose weight. It's not rocket science to lose weight. But if all you're doing is counting calories, you're dumping muscle and you're dumping water. And that's why the scale goes down. But that, in fact, is going to slow your metabolism down even more. So if you lose fat and you maintain muscle mass, there is a way to increase your metabolism. You want to eliminate toxins. You want to balance your hormones. You want to eliminate nerve interference. And you want to have nutritional support. So let's break down all of these parts so that you understand the whole. And so she applied everything that I talked about. I thought this was worth listening to. This is pretty encouraging because the results can be ongoingly, regardless of what period of time that you do this for, as long as you continue to follow the protocol and challenge your body and stay on top of it.
Kristen, you were just telling me how much weight you've lost, and when did you start the program?
April 6th.
April 6th, and we're in the beginning of August now. And how much have you lost so far?
54 pounds.
54 pounds. Wow, congratulations. Keep up the good work.
It's as simple as that. She just, it's like baking a cake. It's a recipe. You follow it, and then you make it a lifestyle, and you do it every day, and it becomes a habit. And when you're slave to good habits, your success is on autopilot. Right? So that's what we're talking about. We're just talking about changing some behaviors. Not say you can't, enjoy a piece of cake every once in a while, or enjoy your favorite, restaurants, and enjoy a favorite meal here and there. In fact, that's probably a good thing to do to kind of shake up your metabolism and fool your body and keep it challenged. You don't want to keep doing the same thing all the time because then your body gets acclimated to it. So we'll talk about that also. A lot of people come in and, we'll find they're on thyroid medication, we'll find they're on antidepressants, they're on anti-anxiety medications, and these are cocktails of pharmaceuticals that actually cause you to gain weight. And a lot of people are not aware of that, but it's a serious situation. They put you on these medications, and all of a sudden it's you start blowing up. You've seen that happen to people who take steroids, anti-inflammatories. They'll put on tons of weight. Antipsychotic, antidepressant medications like Paxil, Prozac, Depakote, prednisone, the anti-inflammatories. You put on 10 pounds just like that. If you're on medication for allergies, insulin for diabetes, high blood pressure medications, particularly cholesterol drugs. How many of you guys know that cholesterol drugs will make you to gain weight? Why is that? What is at the root cause of all metabolic issues? Like, your metabolism slowing down, correcting your metabolism has to do with balancing your hormones. Everybody say that word, hormone. Okay, so at the very, very beginning of synthesizing hormones, what is the base material that we need? What does the body need to make hormones? What are all hormones made out of? Cholesterol, yeah. So it's the necessary ingredient to make every hormone, right? What do cholesterol drugs do to that necessary ingredient for your body to make hormones? It depletes it, yeah? Does that sound like a good recipe to causing a hormonal imbalance? And don't you know that hormonal imbalances are a result of weight gain? Yeah. So this is all part and parcel of the puzzle. We've got to address each one piece by piece. Now, I'm not here to tell you to stop taking your medications, but I am here to tell you that there is a way to balance the equation. And if you get your body strong enough on the inside, then a lot of this stuff you do not need a dependency on anymore. Many of you guys have been patients long enough to see that. Tons of people they see, after a while, they start reducing and getting off many of these medications, and then they're free from that. Second thing is toxicity. Why? Your body is so amazingly smart, isn't it? So your body is so smart that when it's filled with chemicals, it knows that many of these carcinogenic or cancer-causing chemicals will end your life early. And your body is innately intelligent, right? Your body is divinely designed, right? So if it's so smart, what does it need to do with all these chemicals in your body? it needs to protect itself from all these chemicals. So what does it do? What does it make lots of to protect itself and sequester these toxins from the rest of your body? Fat! Yeah, lots of fat. Yeah, so the more toxic you are, chances are the more body fat you're gonna have. It's a protective mechanism. So where does it come from? It comes from all this stuff. Pesticides, herbicides. How many of you guys heard of GMO? You know what that is? They genetically modify these seeds and grains and plants to withstand 5 rounds of Roundup spray. And that's what's going inside of us if we eat these types of foods. Did you know that? And these pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, which is vastly, on everything, and the Lord knows how much of that we've got going on inside of us. We've never measured that, but chances are we have to understand that we've got high levels of that stuff going on inside of our body at a cellular level. Toxic meats with added hormones, right? Grain-fed causes inflammation. Estrogen mimicking plastics. Anybody here ever heard of phthalates? Phthalates, you know what that is? That's the bisphenol A in the plastic. So what happens is these plastics like that, and some of the ingredients that they use for clothing, different nylons, different plastics, when they have contact with your body, or the plastic leaches from the bottle into the water, it has a chemical makeup that mimics estrogen, right? And so what happens is when it goes into your body, those estrogen mimicking molecules actually get used by the body to make more estrogen. And so when you have, ladies, you guys know this, guys, not such a good thing if you have too much estrogen and not enough testosterone, right? Same thing, ladies, if your estrogen goes through the roof, that's when you start getting the hot flashes and the mood swings and all the other things that go with that. So the hormonal imbalances, a lot of that can be caused by this, depending on how much we have. It's on the paper receipts that we get. It lines the inside of the cans. So again, this is causing toxicity, which contributes to weight gain, weight loss resistance. And lastly, toxins have an affinity for the thyroid. For which gland? The thyroid, yeah. So when your thyroid is dysfunctional, Lord help us. Because how many of you guys have seen people or know people with low functioning thyroid? Not a fun game to go through life like that. Things really start to slow down and you blow up real quick. Any kind of thyroid disease is a major metabolic dysfunction for the body. So what can cause that? Toxins. Now, if any of you guys, don't know this, the mercury in the aluminum in shots or in your teeth, amalgam fillings, probably the worst out of all. That stuff will throw you into depression, cause painful irregular menses, could cause bleeding, internal bleeding. So when this stuff actually goes into your brain, it can cause Alzheimer's over long periods of time when you have repeated vaccinations, which starts in childhood, and then many adults continue with flu vaccines. That stuff builds up. 850 peer-reviewed papers been published on this. Dr. Hugh Fudenberg, the world's leading immunologist, he said that people who've had 5 or more consecutive flu shots annually have increased the risk of Alzheimer's by 10 times. Why? Because of the aluminum and mercury buildup in the brain. This is very real, guys. So all these toxins are highly detrimental, not just to your body fat or your body composition, but also to your ability to think clearly, your memory, your reasoning, identifying who your family members are. Are you with me? Are you with me? This is serious stuff. Look at the number of cases of Alzheimer's that we have today compared to, 20, 30 years ago. So the body uses fat to store toxins. Getting rid of toxins equals getting rid of what? Fat. Okay, so very simple. Toxic, expansion, more fat, right? When you're detoxifying, they contract, and we're getting rid of those toxins, and your body gets rid of the fat. It simply releases it. It doesn't need it anymore. So it shouldn't be a struggle. When you're doing the right things, your body just unloads and dumps what it doesn't need. So that's really, the main concept that the picture that I want to paint for you. Weight loss should not be a struggle. It should be a natural, easy, effortless process of your body just unloading what it doesn't need anymore. And it doesn't need toxins, does it? Okay. So, ladies, gentlemen, doesn't matter if it's shaving cream, shampoo, soap, toothpaste, We have these carcinogenic products that we use in our personal care products every single day. Ladies, if you didn't know this, nearly 900 of the chemicals used in cosmetics are known to be what? Toxic. Now this is not just in cosmetics. Sodium lauryl sulfate, which is the soaping agent. It's in toothpaste, mercury, lead, petroleum, a lot of that in the personal care products. Antibacterials. My son came in today, he's like, Daddy, is that that antibacterial soap? They pass it around at school. Is that good for you? I said, no. He said, why not? I said, well, it's got toxins in it, and number one. Number two, it causes superbugs. So it makes you get sick more often. It's like the kids were making fun of me because I didn't do it. I said, well, yeah, you just happen to be smarter than them. You know, they'll go around saying that, but this is the type of stuff like my kids know. You know, they don't know what a vaccination is. When my kids talk to their friends and they said, yeah, we went to go get our shots, they're like, oh, well, what's that? Or when they get sick or they get a cough or a flu, or they say, well, I have to take these pills, these antibiotics. They're like, what's that? You know, they've just been raised completely different. It's a whole different world. And what a privilege it is just to have that knowledge. So these are the things that we need to look for. Go home, look at the labels on your shampoo. Look at the labels on your soap. Look at the labels in your toothpaste. Because if you're putting this stuff in, they've done studies on it and they've shown it causes cancer in laboratory animals. So it makes sense to use different products. Now, when somebody's on our supervised 40-day program and they're looking to lose weight like a half a pound to a pound a day, we make sure we go through this stuff. In fact, we go to great lengths. We actually give you shampoo, we give you some of the products to make sure that you're not sabotaging your program. But we can talk more about that later. Something else in your handout for you to review is really important as well. All these things, high fructose corn syrup, trans fats, artificial flavors, MSG, artificial colors. I'm not going to go through all of it now, but I would encourage you to read that when you go home so you can see what not to do and what to do instead. These are the things that sabotage your plan to succeed. And they lurk, again, below the surface of the water. It's kind of like an iceberg. You know, you see the tip of the iceberg, but you don't see what lurks below. And the only way to see that is to read the labels. And these are the things that cause weight loss resistance. These are the things that disrupt your hormones and your neurotransmitters and slow your metabolism down. And these are the things that you don't want them and you don't need them. And you can see a lot of the health problems that it causes besides weight loss resistance. So please take some time and read that later on, and you'll see, again, look for these things in the labels and see if in fact they are there. And then you pick different products. You'll find a lot of those ingredients in a lot of these foods. I mean, Fruit Loops, look, you guys know better than that, right? So, but, I mean, I feel bad for the kids who are being pushed out of the house first thing in the morning for that stuff, you know, just to stop the kids from carrying on or appease them or just get them to eat anything. But it's loaded with sugar, it's loaded with preservatives, it's loaded with junk. And then they have trouble concentrating because of all the hormonal cascade effects that are occurring because of this, which I'm going to go over in just a minute. But you guys know better than that. But what about bread, you know? What's with the bread? How is bread toxic? Well, if you go back and you look at that paper, you'll see the hydrogenated fats, preservatives. If you go over to Publix and you get one of these freshly baked breads, look on the label and you'll see that stuff in there. It was just baked a couple hours before, maybe the day before. And why do they put those chemicals in there? So it doesn't what? So it doesn't spoil and go bad. They want to give you your bang for the buck, a little bit longer shelf life. But the problem is, again, that's all part of throwing the hormones and the neurotransmitters out of balance, causing inflammation and weight loss resistance. So is bread bad necessarily? No. It's what they do to it when they make it. It's the chemicals which they put into it. So what is this? This is, you know, trans fats, corn oil, canola oil, vegetable oil. Then you look at some of these things like Special K. I don't know about you guys, but when I look at Special K, I don't necessarily see it detrimental. How many of you guys grew up and like you saw Special K commercials and you're like, I don't want that garbage. I want my Fruit Loops. Anybody else? Like that was me. I want my Count Chocula. I want my Smacks. You know, I wanted the garbage food. And when I saw Special K, I'm like, ew, that's not for kids. That's for adults, right? So we've been conditioned to think stuff like this and the Quaker oatmeal guy is healthy stuff. But nothing could be further from the truth. When you read the labels, you see all the trans fat and the sugar. And you know, there's literally 80 or to 100 ingredients in these things. And I'll tell you maybe 6 on your left, five you could count on your left hand that you could pronounce that wasn't made in a laboratory. Does that sound like a good idea for health, youth, vitality, weight loss? Heck no. Okay, so worst of all these things, guess what has the most chemicals? The diet foods. The diet foods, yeah. Well, you know, Crystal Light, I can't tell you how many people come in and they got a big thing of Crystal Light. Like, yeah, I'm dieting, I'm on my new diet. And I'm like, what is that? It's Crystal Light. Oh my gosh, do you realize what that's doing? That's throwing your hormones all out of balance. It's slowing your metabolism down. Like, they have no idea that it's, you know, this, besides the fact that it causes cancer in laboratory animals. They've done studies, they know it causes cancer, right? Sweet and low, aspartame, you guys know that, right? Yeah, the thing is that it's even worse for weight loss. The more chemicals that are in here, the more that it's a guarantee that you're gonna gain the weight back. And that's the problem that I see with a lot of these things. They don't cover that. They're like, here, it's limited in calories. As long as you cut calories and you do that long enough, you're gonna lose weight. Great, that sounds good, I'd like to lose weight. But what they don't tell you is that you're slowing your metabolism in the process, which almost makes it a guarantee that you're gonna what when the program is over? You're gonna gain it back. And the more chemicals that you have in that equation, the more likely that that's gonna happen. It's better to eat the real foods. And you know, I'll always recommend that you eat real foods. You never want these chemicals in there, and for more reasons than I can go over, you can see, obviously there are things in there that are toxic, and they're going to sabotage you. So with all the toxicity that we live in with this world, I will never beat this dead horse to a pulp enough. At every workshop, I will always share with you why the most important thing that anybody could do to start their day, keep insulin levels stable, save money because you don't have to buy breakfast every day anymore. You're not going to eat croissants, you're not going to have oatmeal, you're not going to have bagels, you're not going to have donuts. You're going to have something that's clean and pure, and it boosts your kidneys and your liver, and it does a gentle detox every single day, and you got your multivitamin spectrum to go with it. Very, very simple. N-acetylcysteine and glutathione are the two most important things for phase 2 liver detox. And the glutathione is the most important antioxidant in the body, which recycles all the other antioxidants, which is a major part of your detoxification pathways. So how many of you guys have ever done a detox program before? Okay. Have you ever been traumatized by like a strong detox program before? Nobody? Good, thank goodness. I have. It's not fun. That's why I can safely recommend this for you. You will not have any sort of bad reactions to it, because I've experienced that before and it's not fun. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. You want to do a gentle detox every single day. Just have a little bit of the right things. That'll keep your liver and your kidneys boosted and make sure those toxins are finding their way out from every cell, organ, and tissue in your body. Does that make sense? That's why I like that. So we got the Mediclear shakes. I have this after I work out in the morning. How many of you guys are working out regularly? Good. Give yourselves a pat on the back. After you work out, what's an important thing to have? You need what? You need protein. Yeah, exactly. So that's what this has. It has 20 grams of protein in it. It's got 5 grams of sugar, which obviously is like fruit sugar, low glycemic index. And it's got every multivitamin that you could possibly think of and need, including antioxidant support. So that's why I recommend that. We can answer more questions on that later. But another important thing is hydration. One of the most important things that we watch when we supervise people on a weight loss program is their hydration levels. Because again, you know, it's easy to lose weight. But if I'm telling you that what's more important than losing weight is losing fat, how do we measure that, right? Because, you know, if you're going to be losing weight, chances are you're going to be losing water. You're really going to be losing water, and then the next thing that's going to occur is the muscle. And how many of you guys want to lose muscle? I know I don't want to lose muscle, and I don't want to lose water, because when you become dehydrated, bad things happen. It's one thing to lose muscle, but when you become dehydrated, you can't think clearly. I mean, literally 2% loss of hydration, you start making errors in your thinking, in math, critical decisions. You do not want to become hydration, let alone, you know, struggle with your weight loss. And this is one of those factors that if you stay well hydrated, your body will stay alkaline, it'll help with the detox process, and you can actually measure, if you maintain your water weight, you can actually measure how much weight you're losing, because if you're maintaining your water weight, you know you got to be dumping fat. And it's, again, if you have the right tools to assess that, I'll show you how that's possible. A good rule of thumb is to make sure that you're having, you know, right around half your body weight in fluid ounces. How much? half your body weight in fluid ounces. Let's start with that. So if you're a 200-pound man, right, roughly it's 3 liters. A liter is 32 ounces, 32, 33 ounces. So you always see me walking around with one of these bottles. I drink a liter while I'm working out in the morning. I'll drink another liter between breakfast and lunch, and I'll drink another liter between lunch and dinner. And never, ever, 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 ever do I drink after 6 o'clock in night, because I don't want to what? Get up and pee in the middle of the night. How many of you guys like that? Not me. No. That's a simple thing. I make a concerted effort. I make a specific effort. I don't drink after 6 o'clock, even dinner. I mean, I may take a swig of like 2-3 ounces. That's it. That's it. And I make sure I void my bladder just immediately before I hit the bed. It's the last thing I do before my feet leave the floor. So this is a very specific, methodical approach to detoxification for hydration, which promotes what? Fat burning, clean, pure, alkaline source. Now, if you look at some of these water sources, very few of them are alkaline. If you get Dasani, a lot of these bottled waters, they're actually acidic. So you want to try to get a bottled water that's, if you are going to get water slightly alkaline, if you can, it's a good way to get your body to be releasing fat. And the other thing that we look at very carefully, because one of the reasons that you would be dehydrated is if you have a trace mineral imbalance. The what? Trace mineral imbalance, yeah. Why would you have a trace mineral imbalance? Well, most of the minerals that we used to get can no longer be found because the soil that we get our vegetables and fruits from is depleted. Yeah. So we rely heavily on things like salts and spices and things like that, but when they take the salt and they superheat it to over 1,000 degrees, it destroys all the trace minerals in it. So it's very, very difficult to get all of the trace minerals. Now, when you don't have the trace minerals, you're usually dehydrated. So one of the things that I always recommend is the pink salt. How many of you guys use the pink salt? Yes. What is the pink salt has about 92 different trace minerals. And that's all from a blend, really, of the Mediterranean sea salt and sea salt from the Hawaiian volcanic seas and the ash in there. And one of the things about this product is the fact that it's not superheated. It's air dried or solar dried, so it retains all of its trace minerals. So you put this on all your foods, and again, it helps your body retain the water. And it's not bad for you from the standpoint where it's going to cause your blood pressure to go up or make you feel bloated. It's going to help your cells, which are, if you're dehydrated, they're kind of like raisins. All it's going to do is allow the water to get into the cells and plump them up like grapes. Very, very simple. Sprinkle it on everything. Your taste buds will light up. And it's a very easy way to stay hydrated. And once you start using this, you're not going to want to stop. Super, super inexpensive. It's salt. It's one of the easiest things you could do to stay well hydrated. And if you are on the program with us, it's one of the things that we make sure. There's a number of different things that we use, but this is one of those things that we include in the program because it's so simple, but it helps you stay hydrated. And we look at those hydration numbers every week when you come in. And if you're doing everything we show you to do, we actually see that water going up and fat going down. Those two are inversely proportional. They should move opposite ways. Balancing your hormones is a big, big key point in terms of losing weight and feeling great and being healthy. Okay, for all of us in the room here, your hormone production is not increasing, it's what? It's decreasing. By the time you've hit age 50, it's less than 50% of the original production on average. Your body's making less human growth hormone, which is the fountain of youth hormone. It's what's necessary for good nerve system function and also building muscle mass. That's why you see as people get older, they lose muscle mass and they get more flabby. The testosterone has gone down for men. So primarily we need that as men. Estrogen, women need more, but we both need, men and women need estrogen and testosterone, just in different amounts. But now you're seeing the drug companies all of a sudden monger to these diseases that they're making out of something called low T, right? See the guy driving in the convertible with the young, beautiful woman, and you see, the gray hair. If my hair was a little bit longer, I could probably be in that commercial. And what do they ask? Do you have low T? Because we got a solution for that. Well, guess what? I have a non-pharmaceutical solution to raise your testosterone, to balance out your estrogen, and insulin and leptin. These are all hormones that have to do with weight loss. And if they're out of balance, you can lose the weight, dump the water, watch your scale go down. But if they're out of balance, it's all coming back and then some. Right? Are you guys with me? So how do we start bringing this stuff back in balance? Well, one of the easiest things that you could do is exercise. What? Exercise, yeah. So, okay, so new research has just emerged. You guys are gonna freak out when you hear this, but it's true. Studies have been done, and they've conclusively shown that exercising more than once annually is good for your health. Yeah. So ask your doctor if getting off your butt is good for you. I'm going to tell you to get off your butt, right, in just a minute, because what I want to share with you is something easy that can boost your hormones. This is called interval training, where you just do 20 seconds on, 20 off, 20 on, 20 off, 20 on, 20 off. And what studies show is it produces surges of hormones, such as testosterone, progesterone, human growth hormone. You can actually increase these hormonal levels if you do this type of exercise. And it's super simple and it's super easy. It increases your metabolism. Raise your hand if you want to increase your metabolism. Easy thing to do. Probably take you about 10, 15 minutes at the most. And you only have to do it 3 times a week. And it increases lean muscle. How many of you guys want lean muscle? More muscle? Yeah. So this is it. This is the key. Very, very simple. Let me show you how easy it is. Okay? I want everybody to stand up. All right? And what you're supposed to do is go all out at about 90 or 100% of your maximum intensity. Now, if you can't do that, don't do that. But I just want to give you a feel of what it's like and how simple and easy it is. I did it this morning. I was on the bike. We're going to run in place. But I just want to show you what 20 seconds feels like. It's very, very simple. You watch, you look on the stopwatch, you can run in place, you can do jumping jacks. Ready, set, go. Go run in place, fast as you can. Good, stamp your feet. Good. 10 seconds left. You feel your heart rate going? Good. Good. 5 seconds left. Good. Excellent. All right. Stop, but don't sit down. Stand right there. Stand right there. Stand right there. Okay. So you wait. So we just did 20 seconds. We're going to have 20 seconds rest. And then in 5 seconds, we're going to do our second set. And this time, I want you to put your arms over your head. All right? Because this is what's going to get your heart pumping. Anybody breaking a sweat yet? Ready? Next set. Here we go. Good. All right. I'm watching the clock. You guys are doing great. Don't hurt yourself. Don't break anything. Keep going. You're doing good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's rest. We got 20 seconds. 20 seconds rest, and then this is our last set. We only have one more set. That's it. How many of you guys are feeling it? Pretty good workout. This is it. It's very simple. Okay, 5 seconds, and we're going to do our last set. Ready? Set. Go. All right. This is your best 3-minute workout you ever had. Best fat-burning 3-minute workout. Raise your hand if you want more T. Men, ladies, you want more E? Raise your hand. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. Now we can sit down. Woo! Give your neighbor a high five. Woo! That was good. All right. Right now, I can tell you that your body chemistry is changing. It's switching from fat storing to fat burning. Turn your neighbor and say, I'm a fat burner. Full-time fat burning. So this is just one of the things. This is it. Now, that was one set, okay? So if you want to start this, you just do it. You do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Just do it 3 times a week. You don't want to do it every day. You want to do 3 times a week. And if it's your first time getting going and you're not really an avid regular exerciser, just do what we just did. Take you a minute and a half, 2 minutes at the most. That's it. And the following week, you rest 2 minutes and then you do it again. And that's your second set. Okay? Do that all week, and then the following week, the third week, you rest another 2 minutes after your second set, and you do a third set. Okay, so those 3 sets should take you about 12 minutes. And that's it. And the return on that investment, again, is going to be human growth hormone, which you're going to gain lean muscle, which is going to raise your metabolism. It's going to help your body burn fat. And you're going to see those benefits lasting, because what the studies show is that it showed that those hormonal levels and that fat burning effect actually lasted the next 36 hours after that 12 minutes of exercise. Were you aware of that? If we just programmed your body to burn fat for the next 36 hours, that's a pretty good return on the investment for 3 or 12 minutes. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. Okay, so basically that's it. On the off days, because again, if you want to stimulate your metabolism, you really want to consider doing something every day. The burst or the interval training really only takes you 12 minutes. But on the off days, I would recommend doing a brisk walk for 15 or 20 minutes. These are all good things for your metabolism, for fat burning, and again, for correcting the underlying metabolic dysfunction that causes all these issues that we want to fix. Does that make sense? So just picture in your mind a little bit every day, a little bit every day. You know, every other day you're going to do the interval training, every other day you're going to do the brisk walking on the off days. Does that make sense? So little time that you have to put into it. And the best time to do it is what time? In the morning. Why? Because number one, for compliance. Because if you wait till the afternoon, chances are life's going to get a hold of you, everybody's going to pull you in different directions. It ain't happening. Let's get real. So give your first fruits, like the Bible says, give your first fruits to the Lord. It's not just, you know, your prayer life or your reading scripture, but it's also your physical. I call it the spiritual triathlon. That's why I like to do that in the morning. I always work out in the morning. Also, if you do it on an empty stomach, you're going to have the best hormonal response. Do it on an empty stomach, you have the best hormonal response. All right, so that's, and you know what, here's the good news. You can do any exercise with that, right? So you can do push-ups for 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. You can do sit-ups, 20 seconds. You don't have to run in place. Like I told you today, I got on the bike. I was pedaling on the bike 20 seconds as hard as I could. I rested 20 seconds. And I did everything that we just did. I did that this morning. So you guys can play with this. You can use any exercise, jumping jacks, sit-ups, push-ups. It'll work with anything. The important thing is that you get that output to 90 to 100% of max. Does that make sense? Okay. Now let me know if you have any questions as time goes on. This is very important also because if you eat good and exercise, you also still have to look at the circuit breaker, so to speak, that's controlling the glands that make the hormones. And many people just really overlook this. Most doctors overlook this, but your nervous system controls all of your glands and all of your organs, all of your fat-burning organs. Studies have shown that more than 50% of the hyperthyroid patients have damage to the pathways in their what?
Nervous system.
In their nervous system, exactly. The pathway is the brain out to the organs and the organs back to the brain. Your fat-burning organs, your reproductive organs, your ovaries, your uterus, your gallbladder, your liver, your thyroid, all of your adrenal glands, all of these are your fat-burning organs. They have to have a clear pathway from the brain to the body and the body back to the brain. With few exceptions, hormone deficiency or hormone excess is the result of pathological manifestations in the what? Neural pathway. When there's an interruption in the spinal cord or the spinal nerves, it shuts down the communication, and the organ at the end of those communication lines begins to shut down, develop dysfunction and disease. And that is a manifestation, therefore, of a blockage. Spinal lesions of the atlas axis, C1 and C2, were associated with abnormal function of the pituitary gland, which resulted in abnormal what? Hormonal secretions. So in other words, if your spine is out of alignment, it will interfere with your hormonal balance. Spinal nerve interference and its resulting decrease in function is a significant cause of hormonally related health problems. We call that subluxation. It's insidious because when the pressure goes on the nerve, you don't necessarily feel it. It's kind of like a cavity or cancer. Most of these nerves are not pain sensitive, so you can in fact have multiple vertebrae out of alignment, not feel it, not know it, shutting down nerve supply to a gland that actually controls your hormones or your kidneys or any sort of problem that you may have. And it's a degenerative process, kind of like a tooth decays, the vertebrae in your spine decay. If they're out of alignment, the discs and the bones degenerate. We call that degenerative disc disease. And the end stages is usually where you feel the pain. So that's why it's a very important part of a person's healthcare protocol or strategy, preventative strategy, to have proactive preventative checkups. Kind of like you go to a dentist a few times a year. You go even when you don't have cavities, right? Because only they can tell through their testing whether you have pain or not, whether you're having a problem or not. Isn't that correct? Just so happens it's the same thing with your spine. People come in here all the time, like, Doc, my back is killing me here. And their neck is 10 times worse. All the time. It just happened to me Happened to somebody today. They're like, I don't feel anything. And their neck looks like somebody who came in here and they're 95 years old. Pain has nothing to do with it. So that's why it's vitally important that you have these areas checked. Now, when somebody goes through our weight loss program, it's so important to their success. We actually include that as far as an evaluation, thermography, x-rays. We do a full analysis on the spine if somebody's under our weight loss program. We include that as part of the program just to make sure that there's no interference going to the glands. So up here at the top, if there's interference there, if you look at the symptoms there, it can cause tiredness, it can cause anxiety, high blood pressure. At this level, if it's going to the thyroid, it can cause thyroid conditions. At this level, if you're shutting down nerve supply to the liver, it can cause liver problems, poor circulation, toxicity there, toxicity at the level of the kidneys. Reproductive organs can cause miscarriages, menstrual troubles, bladder problems, change of life symptoms. So obviously, again, this is one of the most overlooked cause of health problems. And you can eat good and exercise and do all these things. But if your spine is shutting down, malfunctioning, or it's short-circuiting, then it's all for naught. So that has to be checked also. Let's talk about cortisol. Has anybody here heard of cortisol? Raise your hand if you've heard of cortisol. Okay. It's a very, very important hormone. That hormone, cortisol, is responsible for controlling inflammation. It's responsible for regulating metabolism. And in the morning when you wake up, cortisol levels are naturally high. And then as the day goes down, it's kind of like gets you ready for everything. It gets your brain kicking, it gets your body ready to handle all the stresses of the day. But as the day goes on, your cortisol levels should start going down. And the problem is that when life starts coming at you a million miles a minute, cortisol levels what? They stay what? They stay high. And so, we know that, right? How many of you guys here have a little bit of stress in your life? How many of you guys have a side order of stress in your life? Yeah. So we've got all that stuff, and we all deal with it differently. So the problem is that these cortisol levels stay elevated. If they stay elevated all the time, then what happens is that it causes things like depression, it shuts your metabolism down, it shuts your immune system down, you get colds more often, high blood pressure, chronic fatigue, interrupts your sleep, migraines, tunnel vision, interrupts your digestion. Cortisol levels being out of balance can cause just about any sort of disease that we usually treat with drugs. And it can all be from high cortisol levels. So if you control your stress, you can control the cortisol. And if you control the cortisol, then you control your weight. Does that make sense? So cortisol, what happens is when cortisol goes up, cortisol is a hormone. So when cortisol goes up, insulin goes up also, right? How many of you guys heard that hormone called insulin? Guess what happens when insulin goes up? Ooh, now we go into fat storing automatically. That's what happens. So that's the problem. You run high cortisol levels and your body's in fat storing all the time. Fat storing, storing fat, storing fat, storing fat. As long as you keep under a lot of stress, you watch the scale go up. Usually that's what happens. I see that happen a lot of the students, they come back from college, woo, they just put on, what do they call it, the freshman 15? It's not from pizza and beer, it's not that alone, it's also all the stress that they're under also. Anytime you have a lot of stress, you'll see people blow up because they're running high insulin levels all the time, their body's full-time fat storing. Does that kind of make sense? So whether it's because of stress or it's because of food, you're still going to have the same effect. Anytime insulin and cortisol go up, those hormones are going to cause you to store fat. One of the easiest ways that you can correct a cortisol imbalance is by what?
Exercise.
Exercise will help, yeah. It's a stress reliever. But also sleep, yeah. One of the easiest things that you can do. If you get sleep in a day, catch up on sleep, that will do a lot for you to correct this problem. Morning rituals, why? Because if you fill up your cup, so to speak, in the morning and the rest of the world is grabbing at you, at least it won't go completely depleted. And that's why it's so important to have those morning rituals. Exercise in the morning, do your spiritual thing, whatever that may be. For me, it's reading the Bible, it's prayer. That's where my source of strength comes from. And I do that every day. And so that's kind of making, emotional and physical deposits in the bank account, so to speak. If you don't fill up the account, you're going to deplete it. It doesn't matter if it's money or if it's your health. You have to make deposits in the account. So you got to start off doing that in the morning. If you don't get a chance to do it in the morning, then at least you have a chance to do it in the middle of the what? In the middle of the day. What can you do in the middle of the day? You can take a nap, you can unplug, just, even if you're in an office in a high-rise building, shut your door, put in your headphones, put your feet up, or lay on the floor just for 10, 15 minutes. Listen, if you have a lunch break, you can do whatever you want with that. Just unplug. I'll go home, I don't live too far from the office. When I go home, very often I'll take a 15-minute nap. I'll just lay on my back, lay on my bed. I'll put on some headphones and I'll listen to white noise or oceans or raindrops or something just to take my mind off of everything. And it recharges you. Gives your brain a rest and it recharges you. Gratitude journal. How many of you guys have a diary or you journal? One of the good things about that, that two people are doing in the room, good for you guys, that nobody else does, is they don't realize that you're downloading all of your stress when you do that. Like if you keep it bottled up and pent up, again, it's causing a biochemical upset, an imbalance. But if you get that stuff out of your head and out of your body, dump it out on the paper, then it helps correct these things. It's a simple habit. I can't tell you how important that is. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for at the end of every day. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for at the end of every day. And it'll go a long way for this. And finally, take a what?
Day off.
Take a day off. Raise your hand if you'd like a day off. All right, I'm approving it. I'm approving it. Tell your boss I said you can have a day off. Barry, tell the boss. All right? Jojo, she approves it.
I told her.
You told her? Now I know who wears the pants. All right, so nutrition, let's get the right things in and the wrong things out. We're talking about hormonal balance. How does nutrition affect the hormones? Rapid sugar peaks raise what? Insulin. Now, anytime that you have refined carbohydrates, high sugary foods, high glycemic index, insulin's going up, and you're storing fat. So whatever you can do to avoid that, pick foods that will prevent that, you won't experience that. But not only that, it blocks testosterone and estrogen secretion. Did you know that? They've done studies, they found that they gave men a sugary drink like a Coca-Cola, and then they measured their testosterone levels within an hour or two later, and it decreased by 80%. Yeah, so it's a known fact that sugar blocks normal hormonal secretions. So this goes way further than just weight loss, guys. It goes way further than just fat loss. This is affecting every area of our health when you stop and think about it. But the food companies don't want you to know that. How about alcohol? One alcoholic drink per day can decrease your human growth hormone by how much? 75%. What's human growth hormone? What did I say? It's the fountain of youth hormone in your body, which keeps you young, which keeps your muscle mass, right? It keeps your neurological strength. And you have one drink a day. It will deplete it by 75%. So I know there are studies that show a drink a day prevents heart disease or does this or that, reduces your stress, but there's clear evidence on how it disrupts your hormones. Eating low sugar fruits. Okay, you want to eat low sugar fruits. If you eat high sugar fruits, for example, mangoes, bananas, pineapples. So a lot of the high sugar fruits, you know they're high sugar because they go zing in your mouth. You know they are. But the low sugar fruits, like Granny Smith apples and the berries, these are the ones that will not raise insulin. They won't have a glycemic index. Sure, all those other high sugar fruits, they do have vitamins and nutritional benefit, but do that sparingly. Don't make that like your everyday thing. Granny Smith apples are better than, the red apples because they're lower in sugar. They're more tart. So that's the type of stuff that you want to look for, low sugar fruits. And then the other sugars that we're talking about are the grains. And we're talking about unsprouted grains, like, the breads, the pastas, especially white bread, white pasta. If you go into some of these other pastas, like the whole wheat pasta and the spinach pasta, if you look at the label on the side, you'll see it's flour enriched. Even though it's spinach based or tomato basil based, it's still flour enriched. So unless it's a sprouted grain like stone ground or whole, then basically you're causing a very quick sugar spike, which stimulates insulin, which throws your hormones out of balance, which again perpetuates fat storage. So you want to limit this, eliminate it. Bread, pasta, rice, cereal, oatmeal, crackers, and all that. Eliminate that 6 out of the 7 days a week. Now, if you have one cheat day with one meal on one cheat day a week, that's fine. And again, I think the benefit to that is that it challenges your metabolism. So what's my cheat day? On Fridays, I'll have a couple of slices of pizza. And I don't know about you guys, but I like pizza. Anybody else? I like it just as much as anybody else. But the way I do it is, I do it on a Friday so that I don't work out in the morning on Friday. I wait till I eat my pizza and I use that as fuel for the fire. And I'll do a little bit more cardio on that day. That's how I do it. But what I have found is that it completely resets up my metabolism. And it turns up my metabolism. And I can see that. And so, 1 day a week, if you want to reset your metabolism, that's fine. But that's after you make all your gains, and that's, part of the maintenance plan that I'm recommending. So, again, I spoke about this, whether it's breakfast or lunch. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I have kids, and I can't keep this stuff more than a week. I'll go through. By the end of the week, I'm done with a bottle. Why? Because it really tastes so good. And it's kind of a good thing that my kids are addicted to this. It really tastes good. They'll have it as a snack, or they'll have it, as breakfast. And the thing with the shakes, again, is that you can use it as a meal replacement, whether it's breakfast or lunch. If you for lunch today, what I did for lunch is I had a green smoothie, and it was cucumbers and spinach and kale and coconut milk, and I had a couple of scoops of this in there also. And that was my lunch. And why did I do that? Because I just wanted to stay lean and clean today. I didn't want to load my system down with food. I knew I had to keep my energy at a pretty high level all the day through so that we could do this tonight. Because I'm like you guys, you got to plan for success. So high energy. That's all I can tell you. You have this stuff in the morning, and you don't spike your insulin levels. You start off with your insulin level stable with this and low sugar fruits and good fats like coconut milk or almond butter. You're starting your day in fat burning. You're training your body to burn fat all day long. Does that make sense? So you never see this energy go up and then come down where you can't wait to find the next coffee pot. You keep going back to the coffee pot all day. Your energy goes up and it goes down and it goes up. It's not like that. When you start your day right and you eat the right foods, you should be eating foods that give you energy, not rob you of energy. Does that make sense? And so that's what this becomes about, learning how this whole process starts. Now, so getting your hormones back in balance, we said, means keeping your insulin level stable, detoxing, so that hits a couple of those things. But the other thing that's really important is that making sure that you get a good amount of fat. One of the most important things that you can do to maintain... Somebody's not happy. So one of the most important things that you can do to maintain your weight once you lose it all is keep a very, very high caloric intake. That's your daily caloric intake. Now, the lower that number is, the slower your metabolism is. The higher that number is, the faster your metabolism is. So if there's somebody in the room who's, their daily caloric intake is at, 1,200 or 1,500 calories, a day, versus somebody who's at 2,500 calories a day, guess what? The man or the woman who's at 2,500 calories a day, that's what they need to maintain that weight. That means their metabolism is not working slower, it's working what? Faster. So is it easy to eat 2,500 calories a day? Yes? It depends on how you look at it. Line me up. Line me up at the smorgasbord, and it's pretty easy, right? Line me up at the breakfast buffet or the brunch, and it's pretty easy. But if you're eating sensibly, it's going to be hard to get all those calories. The majority of your calories, bang for the buck, are going to come from the fat, not the carbohydrates or the proteins. You got to have fat. And this is where we see people fail and falter, where they're not meeting their caloric intake, the required caloric intake, because they're not getting enough fat in. We'll say, here, you need to maintain your weight, you need to, have 2,200 calories a day. And we're seeing, people come up with 1,600, 1,700, they just can't do it. Why? Not eating enough what? Fat. You have to have fat. You got to have fat in your breakfast. You got to have fat in lunch. You got to have fat in your dinner. And where do you get the fat sources? That's really what we need to look at. So I apologize that the handout came out a little blurry, but now that I'm going to go over it with you, you're going to know what you're looking at when you look at your handout later. So your good fats are going to come from avocados, coconut oil, coconuts, flaxseed oil, almond milk, olive oil, grapeseed primrose oil. Your good fats and your greens should be the foundation of your daily caloric intake. You know, the majority of calories, probably about 50-60% of your calories every day, could and should come from, you know, good fats and greens. And the rest of it would be the proteins and the low sugar fruits and vegetables. And that's really what this House of Health is meant to show you. But aside of that, just to make things practical, you know, many of you guys are going to be using coconut oil, or you have used it. This is the fat burning ticket right here. And whatever, you know, you saw on the news not too long ago is junk science, if you did see that. It's junk science. And even if it does raise your cholesterol, again, there's no studies to show that it causes heart disease, or it creates heart disease, or causes heart attacks. So that's a myth. This will put your body in fat burning. Green tea will put your body in fat burning. Extra virgin olive oil, almonds, walnuts, avocados. Actually, coffee and tea are thermogenic. You know, green tea is thermogenic even without the caffeine. But when you have coffee, as long as you have mountain-grown organic, you're getting thermogenic benefits, which means it's fat burning. You know, the more milk and the more garbage you put in there, the more chemicals you're going to put into it. But I'm not talking about Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. I'm talking about like Blue Mountain, something that's grown, you know, on the side of a mountain there, organic, no pesticides. Coffee is one of the most heavily sprayed crops with pesticides and toxins. So you're defeating the purpose if you do that. So just understand, this is all fat burning. Butter, butter, butter. I went up to take my son to college a couple days ago. Yeah, we were at Bob Jones. We went out to dinner. We had our last dinner with him before we came home. And we went to, I had a steak. It was my first steak in a couple of weeks. And I had a 10-ounce ribeye, and I had a salad, and I had broccoli. And I knew, you know, that was my last meal at 6:30, 7 o'clock, so I make a pretty good effort to make sure that I'm not laying in bed with my stomach growling. So what did I put a lot on that food? Lots of butter, lots of butter. I had like 3 of those little things, and I slathered it all over my steak, all over my broccoli, and that was it. You know, I had extra virgin olive oil on my salad. I had a house salad with extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of vinegar. So I had lots of good what? Lots of good fat, yeah. So we finished dinner probably closer to 7 o'clock, and sure enough, I'm laying in bed. It's 9 o'clock, right? Getting ready to go to sleep. We had an early flight. You know, you could get up at 5 o'clock the next day. Laying in bed, and I can feel it. My stomach is empty. My stomach's empty. Literally 2 hours later, I'm telling you, it will turn your body into a voracious, fat-burning machine. Okay? That was a steak and tons of butter, which is all healthy what? Fat, yeah. Did you hear anything about a baked potato in there? No. You're going to feel that stomach expand and enlarge and blow up like a balloon, and you are not going to feel good if you do that. So don't do it. You're going to see all the recommendations that we give you. Now, if you want to do that once every blue moon, you can do that. But if you're trying to, you know, lose weight, if you're trying to loosen up your pants a little bit, if you're trying to trim down, I'm giving you the secrets. I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom right here. That's it. It's good fats. It's good, healthy fats. Got to get lots of this good fat. Use this. Make sure it's Kerrygold. Make sure it's organic. All right, and lots of extra virgin olive oil. Put it on all your vegetables. But you know, do not go sparingly on the butter when you're preparing your meats. You know, like your fish or your chicken or your grass-fed meat. You know, make sure that you load it on there, and you're going to see. It's very, very helpful for your metabolism. So the paleo diet promotes healthy hormone levels. Proteins from meat and fish are healthy fats. And again, the healthy fats are going to provide your body with the ingredients that it needs to synthesize the hormones, the testosterone, the estrogen, the human growth hormone. All this, again, starts with cholesterol, which is made up of what? Fat. It's made up of what? Fat. So what do you need to make healthy hormones? Fat. Yeah. See how the low-fat diet ruined us? Yeah. So you need healthy fat. So paleo diet is something that I recommend. Not in the paleo diet is all the stuff that we talked about tonight. But if you're interested in this, I would recommend it. I would support it. If this is something that you follow, it's pretty simple. You got your vegetables, low sugar foods. You got your fatty nuts, eggs, wild meats. These are grass-fed, right? Same thing, wild fish, wild caught salmon, not anything harvested, because these days they're feeding fish grains. They're feeding fish corn. Does that sound like a good idea? No, it's going to affect anyone who's on the other end of that food chain. Not a good idea. So some of the supplements that we recommend for fat burning: green tea phytosomes. You get the metabolic effects of the green tea without the caffeine, and you get the fat burning effects. Now it's in phytosome form, which goes single file, like literally right into the cells. You get your optimum absorption with the phytosome preparation. Relora Plus, you remember what Relora means? Relax. Okay, because when you're stressed, it's throwing your hormone levels out, particularly cortisol and DHEA. So it helps to balance this, and it helps to reduce stress-related eating habits. Some of you guys like to eat when you're stressed out. That's your nemesis. This helps to offset that. And so if you combine that with any of the shakes, then you're getting 20% off tonight. If you don't know if it's your first workshop, this is the only time that we ever discount the supplements to incentivize you, and a lot of people like to take advantage of that because you want to make application with the information that you learned tonight. And so these would be the things that synergistically would accelerate the results for you and help support you with your weight loss program. It could be either the Complete Shake or the MetaClear. The difference is the MetaClear has the antioxidant and the detoxification support, and the Complete Shake does not. But either of them both have the multivitamin spectrum in them. Another way to save money is to use one of these coupons. It's 25% off gift certificate that we will give you if you go online and do a review for us. How many of you guys believe that you learned something important tonight? Yeah. Do you think other people would benefit by learning this? Yeah. So how do people know where to go? They read what? Reviews. Yeah. So if you write a review, you're doing good. You really are leaving this community better than you found it. And if you want to do something good and kind of pay it forward, I ask that you go on Google or Facebook, write a review for us. We'll give you 25% off discount. You could use it towards any of the supplements. Just take a snapshot of it that it's done, and you're good to go with that. For those of you who are interested in having your nerve system examination, my staff has $40 coupons for the exam. It includes the x-rays. This is good for you. This Dr. Francesca's over there. Can everybody turn around and see Dr. Francesca? Those of you guys who want to have a nerve system evaluation, thermography, the thermal scan, x-rays included, it's about a $300 value for only $40. You could get that over there. And last but not least, what I wanted to cover is this. So people always ask me, listen, I just need a system, doc. I need a coach. I need somebody just to show me what to do. Just tell me what to do. The recommendations that I've given you so far, they're more general. They work. They're general concepts, and they work. They work for everybody, but it's really more general. Some of you out there may be thinking, well, I need something like blueprinted. I need something personalized. I need somebody to take me by the hands and make this thing work. And that's where the Zyto scanner comes in. When the hand goes on the Zyto scanner, I'm feeling the sweat build up here. Yeah, that's because the air is off. Holy smokes. So when your hand goes on the Zyto scanner, this thing actually can read what your biological preferences are in terms of which organs have a biological preference for different supplements. And that helps us bring your hormones, neurotransmitters back into balance. Everybody's supplements are different. I just gave you recommendations for general supplements, but the supplementation recommendations that we do on this program are blueprinted and customized for each individual person. So your hand goes on the scanner, sits there for a few minutes, and the computer reads you and it tells us what to recommend for you. Little picture will come up and it'll show this green right here, this area is your perfect and exact fat burning zone. All these red biomarkers that fall out of range show us what kind of help you need, and then the computer starts going through the supplements to see which supplements your body does best with to pull the biomarkers back into range. And that's how we arrive at the supplements that you need to get into fat burning. Can everybody say fat burning?
Fat burning.
You know what this is?
Fat.
Yes. How much fat is that?
5 pounds.
20 pounds? It's 5 pounds. It's 5 pounds. Feels a lot more. Yeah. So this is what the scan allows us to dial into. Remember, it's not about losing weight, it's about losing what? Fat. So this is a fat burning program.
My name is Michelle, and I've lost 27 pounds in 30 days.
All right, so 27 pounds in 30 days. The average person on the program will lose anywhere between 15 and 30 pounds in 40 days. Usually lose a half a pound to a pound a day. And then most importantly, the goal is to keep it off. We give you the tools to keep it off because the only way to keep it off is to raise and reset the what? The metabolism. So typical diet programs like Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers, you lose a pound or two a week. What do we say we lose on our program? A half a pound to a pound a day. Yeah, very, very different. You may go through 5-6 months on these programs to lose 30 pounds. We're going through it doing it in 30 to 40 days. Most of these systems use prepackaged foods laden with chemicals which destroy your metabolism in the long run. We use real food. All the supplements are included in the program, but none of these programs focus on what? No fat burning, no fat burning, no fat burning, no fat burning. $3,000, $1,800, $4,500. That's a lot of money to lose weight and not lose fat. Our program is way less than all these, and the one thing that you're losing is fat. And the way that we know that is by measuring. So when you come in, many of you guys, when you stand on that scale, it's going to show you that your metabolism is completely shot. You may be 40 or 50 years old, but your metabolic age usually shows up 70, 80, maybe 90, and you're going to watch that come down. And by the end of the program, you're going to have a metabolism that's running like somebody at your chronological age or below it. And that's the goal. That's what happened to me. I saw it on when I did my program. Listen to this guy, same exact thing. Oh, a little bit of trouble here. Okay.
Hi, my name's Larry. I've been on the program for a few days short of 2 months. My 40-day weight loss period, I lost 33 pounds. And my numbers across the board are great. I was taking one medication for blood pressure. I'm not taking that anymore. My metabolic age when I started here was 63, which wasn't bad because I'm 62. But after 40 days, it was 37, if you can believe that. My body mass index is healthy. Everything's great across the board.
That's, again, like we said when we first started, it's not about losing weight, it's about getting healthy. And it's about having evidence-based results. If you look at your scale and you watch that you lost 10 pounds, you don't know if it's fat, muscle, or water. If you're not gauging it properly. So you have to use one of these. So we have this body composition analysis scale that you stand on, and it shoots a very low level electrical impulse through your body, which measures the resistance. Fat, water, muscle, all the densities of those tissues have different resistance. So the computer is able to use an algorithm to kind of show you where your body fat percentage is, your fat mass, visceral fat, and your metabolic age. So we look at all these things, we tell you where you're at, and this begins the journey. And then the next time you come in, we measure the next one with the first one. And we start to get a graph reading with your body fat percentage coming down, your body water percentage going up, your weight coming down, your BMI coming down, and most importantly, your metabolic age. So again, by the end of the program, by the end of the 40 days, that chronological age, that metabolic age should be at or below your chronological age. And that's what we're looking for again. So we have evidence that you're losing fat, not just weight. So normally when we do this, we sit down, we do your initial body composition analysis, we discuss your goals, see if you're a candidate for the program, and if you are, then we show you, what your program's going to look like, because everybody's program's a little bit different. But normally it's $99. If you would like to make an appointment tonight, Allie is here. Allie, where's Allie? There's Allie. Okay, where are you going to be, Allie? Are you going to be over in your office?
Yeah.
Okay, so Allie's going to be over there if you want to make an appointment to see her. Whether if you've never done the program before, if you'd like to do an additional round, see her. And if you've done the program before, this doesn't apply to you. This is only for new patients only, but it's only $27. All right, who's the raffle winner, Allie? Who's the raffle winner?
We have a number.
We have a number. So this is for the person who brought in the most guests.
Yeah.
Or if you brought in one or more guests, you were entered for a raffle. So we have a lucky winner, and who would that be?
Ready for the number?
Ready for the number?
It's 6.
6.
4.
4,
7,
7,
0,
0,
2,
2,
6.
6. All right. Woohoo!
By one.
Nice. All right, so
By one.
we've got good news. We have a winner. Congratulations. Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited for you. All right, so did you guys enjoy the talk tonight? Did you enjoy the workshop? Okay. I'm not looking for applause or a pat on the back. What I am looking for is opportunities to share this. And what we usually do is every week in the community we go and speak somewhere else, at a place of work or worship or whatever. And I bring my PowerPoint, I bring my projector, and we do it there, and we bring a healthy lunch. I sponsor the program, and we treat the community. And I'm part of a network of doctors that does that all across the country. So if you have a human resources person you want me to talk to, or somebody that you work with that runs your organization, if you have a number of people that you work with, you want me to come over, I could do that at your house, I could do that at work, I could do that wherever you want. You just let me know, and we make it happen. So I encourage you to, give us the information so we could follow up with that. And like I said, leave the community better than we found it. There's a lot. Would you agree? There's a lot of people out there that need to learn what you learned tonight.
Yes.
Yes or yes? All right. So let's make application. Get on the weight loss supplements. We have limited supplies up there. First come, first serve. Register with Allie for your body composition analysis. And imagine what you're going to look and feel like 40 days from now. Yes. All right. Love and appreciate you guys. Have a great night.
And then his friend got up to see the trio. It was you, Joel, and someone else. Mark. Yeah. And I was like, you can't even see me in Yachter. No, Dave was so nice to meet you tonight, today, or whatever. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It made me think of the small world we live in, you know? But you know that you were mentioned, and it was great. It was a kind of great feeling when you spoke about the yeah, so, yeah. It was managed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Forget things.
Not just a diet. And last time I didn't sink in with this. And I started thinking I was supposed to with the vegetables, and healthy fats, just until I'm able to start the program again in September. I started it Saturday, about 7 pounds. And I know that most of that's water because I knew that I was retaining water because my feet were so swollen I could hardly walk. So I know that was all water. So it was like, even just with this, I'm seeing good results. So, yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Me too. I'm looking forward to not being in pain.
Well, you're on your way.
Yes.
It's going to happen very soon. Very
Yes.
shortly. You know what to expect.
Yes.
Yep.